We're back once again. Thank you for tuning in to the Still Knicks Fans podcast. This is episode number 10. I'm your man, Ron. And that's my brother, John. What's going on, bro?
Chilling. What's going on with you, Ron? I'm excited about today. We got some new stuff in front of us. I'm looking at our screen. It's looking fabulous.
I'm with you, man. I'm definitely liking the new look and the upgrades. Hopefully, everyone out there appreciate it. What we're trying to do as much as we can to give you guys a good product, and bring you some banging content. Know what I mean?
Yeah, give a shout out to our homeboy, who's tech producing this, Jose. Thank you for coming through on such short notice, man. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, man. We definitely appreciate you. Thanks for all your help. So
Yeah,
let's get into this Knicks stuff, man.
absolutely. What we got? 2 games to talk about.
We got 2 games to talk about. This week the Knicks played the Atlanta Hawks and they also played the Orlando Magic. Yeah, I think I initially had said that I thought that the Knicks was going to take both games. I thought it was going to be pretty easy the way they've been playing lately and coming out and showing a lot of that strong defense and also pretty good offense. So it didn't necessarily turn out exactly how I thought, but I'm not upset with it because I know these things happen, right?
Right. True. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, these were 2 games that we expected to win. We thought we would come out victorious, but it just didn't happen. But again, I always look back in hindsight. We could be worse off in the worst off position than we are today, and we're doing good, man. I mean, for the most part, we've handled teams that we weren't expected to beat. You know what I mean? And we've come on top. So this is almost like the leveling of the barometer for us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're at that leveling playing field, like we'll win games that we're probably not supposed to win, but then we'll lose games that we're probably supposed to win. So that's where we're at. This is 2021 Knicks for us. You know what I mean? Like that's where we're
Listen,
at.
if you tell me that this Knicks team is going to go straight like this, I would never believe it, man. Because it's got to be one of these. It's got to be one of these. It just has to happen.
Nice. Oh, yeah, that was your old school
No,
Papa
you like
Lock
that?
game, huh?
No,
I see
back
that.
in my day.
About to pass it to each other. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, man. A little bebop and ozone or steady beat, whatever it is. I don't know. But yeah. Speaking of that, make me think of that. We lost Prince Marky D, and that's a real one, man.
Oh
He was
man, yeah, man. Rest in peace, man. Part of the Fat Boys. For those of you who don't know,
That's right.
legendary hip hop group.
You young whippersnappers don't know necessarily about the Fat Boys and how they used to get down, man.
Yeah, man.
They did a song with the Beastie Boys called Wipeout. I had it on a 45. 45 is a little disc. You put that with the little thing in the middle. Anyway, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. They did, listen, we're talking prehistoric times right now.
I don't even worry about that. Let's get back into the Knicks. I'm dating myself.
Let's back to the Knicks.
Anyway, yeah.
So what you think about? Let's go with the Hawks, man. What you thought about the Hawks game, man? What is your take on that?
Tell you a couple things I took from that game. One is I don't know what happened to my man Trey. I don't like his game at all. I don't know where his game turned into that. It looks really weird. He just he runs around. Basic. How one of those things I don't really like is it is part of the game, but like how quickly we'll get the ball, he goes into the lane, but he keeps the guy on the back of him, kind of just keep him there until he makes his move. I feel like Trey does that the whole game, and this Knick game opened it up for me. Like it was the worst basketball. I hated watching it, to be honest.
Well, listen, they a lot of these players are picking and choosing from each other. You know what I mean? Like they're grabbing from each other's games, and I'm not really sure. I think that's a Stephen Curry play, but Stephen does it so smoothly that it doesn't seem like he's trying to do it. It almost seems like the other guys are trying to emulate when he's actually the originator, and he's keeping. And him and Kyrie both are really good at keep staying in front of their guys. And like you have your elite point guards who can really, really do it well. Your Lillards, your Who else is a really elite point? I don't know if Drew Holiday does that.
Does
I
Chris
never
Paul
really
do?
see him do that.
Does Chris
Chris
Paul do something
Paul,
like
you know
that?
what I mean? Yeah, that Chris Paul, you know what I mean? Like they do it, and it seems effortless. Where these younger kids are seem like they're emulating a lot more than actually, So, but look, more kudos to them. They get the foul calls. He goes to the line all the time, so
Yo,
it's
yeah,
working
Trey's
for him.
got it. He's got it mastered. It just is ugly. It's just horrible to look at.
Yeah,
It's like watching, old Spurs games that you knew it was consistent scoring, but it was boring, so fundamental.
right, right,
But
right.
this is worse. Anyway,
Yeah,
all
because
right.
it's not fundamental at all.
No, it's horrible. I'm like, where
It's
does it
not.
come from? But I will say, like, it's not even the last thing I'm gonna say about it, it's not even as exciting. When Trey first came into the league, he looked like Stephen Curry, but it was exciting shooting threes from everywhere. He was slashing to the. This looks like something else. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they're thinking it's a change of pace, but it really isn't a change of pace. I
no,
think it's
no.
just.
Yeah, it's just rotten.
But
Um, but it,
what do you think about the Knicks
but
performance?
as far as the Knicks go, I thought that they played, it was a really good, fun, up and down style of basketball. I think that they were hot from three, like they were on fire.
Right.
And was this the Julius 44-point game?
It
Yeah, so
was.
Julius was on, pure flames, yo. It was like, who lit a match? Because this guy is gonna burn some people up. Because I couldn't believe he was hitting shots from behind the backboard. Like he was doing everything, man. And
I love the part where Walt was like, he's hit. He called out like every shot. He's hit it from the 3-point line. He scored from in the paint. He scored his fadeaway shot. He's hit from every angle possible. He
yeah,
was just
man,
going in. I was like, I love it.
it
I
was
love
almost
it.
like that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna date myself again. How old I am? It was like that Larry Bird, Jordan commercial, I believe, when they used to throw the ball like off the rafter, nothing but net. You remember that? It was a really old commercial.
Nah, I'm not too
Don't
familiar
worry
with that.
about it. You know what? I'm gonna do my homework, my research.
Nah, I'm messing with you. Of course I do. Of course I do. Come on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no,
Yeah, how we
he was hitting.
that was like a go-to
Yeah,
commercial right
yeah,
there. That
yeah.
was like on every channel every day, so you had to seen it. Back when we grew up.
Right, right, right. Well, it just seemed like Julius couldn't miss, even though he did miss a little bit, but most of those shots was going in, and it was great to see how, locked in he was, which the
Yeah.
testament to him. And the funny thing about it is, I say it's funny because he worked out before the game, before practice. He had his own extra practice.
Oh,
So
did he? I didn't know
yeah,
that.
no, he shot around before the practice. So
Oh wow.
that's great. And he said it in the shoot around. I couldn't hit anything.
Get out of town. I didn't even catch that. I gotta go
Yeah,
back to that. You gotta send
yeah,
me
yeah,
that
yeah.
link. That's
That's crazy.
awesome. But
But
that's
yeah,
how it goes. It's basketball, right? Like once you start to get the rhythm, you never know when it's your day. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, you've seen some sort of heroics from like guys like Melo and stuff like that. Top tier guys who just come out and they're just hitting on every cylinder. You know what I mean? They're like attacking the basket and everything's just falling for them.
yeah,
I was telling my son when I was watching it that he was like, "Wow, he's hitting everything." I was like, "Yeah, he must see that hoop must be seeming like extremely easy to like lock in and just knock down shots." So it's interesting. It was fun to watch. I tell you that. I enjoyed it. I really did.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
even enjoyed even more so. Sorry for cutting you off, but
Oh no, it's cool.
like him not actually taking trying to like take a last minute shot or towards the closing end of the game just to like get extra points to go past his average. Like I think he was close to his record, right? Or his high point. I think was it 45?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he was at
I think it
44.
was that he did. That was, I don't know if it was 45 or 43 that he. I mean, I know that might be his high point, but I was thinking. I remember there was a time when he was on the Pelicans and Cantor was on the Knicks, and he lit Cantor up for like 43 or 45. I don't remember which one it was, but he lit him up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they said his high was 45, and then like he had a chance to break that, and you know what I mean, and he
Um,
chose not to, like because he had opportunities to just chuck up the ball to see if he scores, you know what I mean, and just break that, his past that threshold of 45, but he chose not to, and I think that's a testament to like the coaching and just like the overall team play, you know what I mean, and
yeah.
what he's bringing, you know what I mean. So I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty dope.
It's a good sign, man. Listen, I, I don't know what to say because the Knicks are in such a they're in a great position, really, when you think about it. But it's a tough one too, because you're not evaluating Julius Randle, but you are. Because like he's
Yeah.
not one of the young guys that you're looking at to really build up and see where they go. You already kind of know what he is, but he keeps getting better in front of your eyes, and he's turning into someone that's might be, expendable. No, not expendable. Is that the word?
The opposite.
The opposite. I'm trying to figure out
Non-expendable.
non-expendable, I guess. Yeah, he's looked like he was the trade piece. Now he's starting to, man, can we
Right.
build around?
He may be the building, right? He may be a part of the build versus, the expendable portion of the team. Because
Right,
we
right,
were
right.
thinking of him like, yo, we can go in to the break, possibly getting something of value for him. And even if you trade on a high, you would get an amount, probably a larger amount now than you would ever. But are you worth taking that risk because you don't really know what you get with rookies or draft
Right.
picks? Like there's no telling. Where at least you know that Randall can provide you, this sort of play on a consistent basis. You know what I mean? I think we already passed that threshold of how many games you need to play in order to make sure that this is a real thing. You know what I mean? And if he doesn't make an all-star team this year, it's sad. I think the coaches need to vote him in. I think they will, because it would be sad if he didn't make the all-star team this year. It would be a disrespectful, and a disgrace to all coaching staff, in the NBA if they don't give him his proper due.
Yeah, because I don't think like I know sometimes in sports they do this thing where a guy may be worthy of an all-star appearance, but because he's young or what have you, they just feel like, you know what, his time is gonna come. He's playing at the certain level.
Yeah,
You can't do that with the way the Knicks are playing, how they basically turned around what they were last year to this year. Then you finally got a piece that is balling. Like he's not a triple double every night, but he's very close. You know,
right.
you got to acknowledge this somehow. Like already, I could see something is kind of funky because Dame Lillard is Dame Lillard. You know how great he's been
Right.
playing, and it turns out that they voted Luka Doncic is probably going to start over him.
Yeah, right. Because it's a fanfare thing, right?
Yeah,
It was the same thing with Yao Ming. Yao Ming didn't never had the best numbers, but he always started in the West, even with Shaq there.
right.
He generated the most numbers. You know what I mean? And that's a problem they should be fixing. You know what I mean? Like I think the abundance of voting is the problem. You know what I mean? And they're probably doing something to get the numbers up too. So I don't know. But it would be a travesty
It's
if Julius Randle did not make this year's
Yeah,
All Star.
yeah, no, I agree. It should be a
Yeah,
fan vote to a certain extent, to a certain point. Once you get to the a level of numbers where these are real numbers, like okay, we're at this many votes, then you got to take, all right, what did the fans pick? Let's take the top five or top six or whatever at each position and see are these real players? Did this guy even play a game this year? Because there's certain guys that are on these lists that haven't played.
and
Clay
that are
Thompson is
injured,
on this list.
and that are injured, right? Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
Clay's on
Like,
one of these lists.
yeah, and even though Davis has played this year, he's out. So why would you even vote him? You know what I mean? So there's certain things that I just think like to not qualify you as an option to be picked. You know what I mean?
Right.
But also the way they this I think they need to fix the setup too. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you should vote multiple times. I think should be one vote per person, and you should figure out a ways to not have these fake generated votes happen because I know there was some talks about that happening as well. And then that's partly why I think in China they generated so many votes for Yao Ming, even though he's a superstar out there. You know what I mean? Like, so
Right.
he's going to generate all their numbers. But even so, it's very difficult to gauge how many people are watching because they're just a fan of him, right? Versus the actual team. And I think that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I don't know. Um,
No, I hear you. I agree. But outside of that, I think Julius played great. I think RJ had a really good game.
right.
Um, Peyton, I think, was pretty good as well in
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah.
Um, Derrick Rose was decent.
We had the backcourt, the second unit did their thing. You
I
know what I
think
mean?
Quickly added 16 in that game or so.
Yeah,
Um,
Toppin played well.
yeah, like, oh yeah, no, Toppin actually played really good, I thought,
I
in
think he
that
had like
game.
12 points, right? Something like that.
Yeah, 11 points. 11
Yeah.
points. He had a couple threes. I think he had that closing, that alley-oop dunk on the baseline,
Yep.
which was
Yep.
nice. And which
Yep.
Knox hit him with that, which it's good to see Knox in the
Right.
game, even though it was garbage time.
Right. 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 It was nice to see though that little combo. You could see that it could work. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and it showed how even though Nerlens Noel may be limited offensively,
yeah.
defensively he's pretty strong. He's quick. He's still got a good step. Like
Hmm.
he's he disrupts the offense. The opposing offense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I wouldn't say he doesn't have good hands. He has okay hands, but like defensively, like he does this little thing where he goes behind the players and kind of steals the ball from behind them.
Right.
I think he's well adept in that. He's done that a couple of times and got people, like he shocked, like, surprised people when they were trying to go past him. So I think that those little tidbits are playing really, are in our favor. I still think, in my opinion, we as of right now with Mitchell Robinson out for what he's still 4 to 6 weeks. In my hearts of hearts, I think that the Knicks are really pursuing a big. It may not be Drummond, but I think there may be another big that they may be pursuing in the near future. Before the trade deadline, I think we may see something there. That's just an opinion. I don't have any insider scoop or information. Just my opinion. Because I think they're light. I think
Hey
they're
man,
super
you
light.
could be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah. So should we go into our next game? It's, I know you don't want to go in there. I know you don't want to go there. Because we had so much joy with the Atlanta game, you
It,
know?
it's just it was really fun to watch, man. It was really fun to watch. That game turned that game. See, I don't like it too because that's when you bring out all the fake Nick fans too. That was one of those fake
Oh,
Nick fan games where they were like, yo, he dropped 44. Yo, Julius Randle's the truth. The Nick,
everybody
man.
posting up, right? Everybody had a Nick hat. Everybody had, you know what I'm saying? Like it came out of the woodworks. I was like, where did y'all go? Because Modell's ran out of business. Where did y'all just go and pick up all this gear? Because I never see
Yeah,
that much people posting on Instagram and all of that. I'm like, I never see y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, come
yeah,
on,
yeah,
stop it.
yeah. No, it was
Yeah,
crazy.
but that's
But
funny.
yeah, man. Then came
But then
along the Orlando Magic.
that exactly, and then all those I don't know what to call them the like I don't know what the proper way of saying let's say hop along
The
Knicks.
bandwagon fans. Yeah, the
The
bandwagon fans. That's
bandwagon
what they are.
fans, yeah, you know what I'm saying, yeah,
Yeah,
bandwagon fans.
last
Uh,
week they were telling their wives, "Oh man, I'm watching the Knicks. Yo, we going. So look at these Knicks, baby." And then later, after the Orlando, how are the Knicks, honey? Oh, same old Knicks.
yeah, no, like no, I wasn't watching the Knicks. I'm watching Nets now. I'm watching
Yeah, yeah,
Brooklyn,
yeah.
Brooklyn all day. I hate those people. I can't stand
What
them.
are the worst?
Can't
They're the
stand
worst.
them.
Well,
Can't
anyway,
stand them.
along came the Orlando Magic, and I guess um, me being a Met fan and understanding Met killers. I've dealt with a lot of the Chipper Joneses and a lot of these Met killer guys of the world, and Terrence Ross is a Nick killer. Let me tell you something.
Without a doubt.
This guy is an assassin when it comes to playing the Knicks, dude. I don't know what it is, man.
It's in the air. Is what it is. It's in the air. Once he sees Knicks, he's in this. If he's in the stadium, if he's not, if he's playing us, as long as he's around Knicks, But you know what the interesting part is that this is the type of guy that we'll probably go chasing after. And if he gets on our team, he would not do the same thing. He would just do the opposite. It won't go nowhere. But yeah, Ross is the talent, man. Ross kills us all
Although
the
I
time.
tell you, I wouldn't mind him on the Knicks if the
Neither
Knicks
would
can get.
I.
If he should be cheaper than Bradley Beal, obvious. He should be
Yeah.
cheaper than Zach LaVine. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind to see certain trades that make sense to me because, quite honestly, this Knick team, if it was up to me, I'd let them play out. I mean, they can go get a little big to help them out, but I would let them play out the season with this roster, go into the off
Yeah.
season, get into the draft, see what picks we're gonna get, you know,
Right.
and then once the lottery happens, right? Not the actual draft itself, but the draft lottery, so you know where you
Where you
place.
picking? Yeah. Yeah.
At that point, then you could say, you know what? Wow, we didn't get anything in the top whatever. All our picks are later picks, and we probably want to sneak in there. You
Right.
know, maybe we say at that point, I don't know if Julius is going to work for what we're trying to do. Now we try to move him to get into this area.
Bracket. Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah. But you got
Parlay
to
it. Right.
yeah, yeah. Wait and see how everything shakes out. Because what if we end the season, the Knicks make the playoffs or come very close, whatever. Season's over. Whether it be
Hmm.
even if the Knicks get close to making the playoffs and they don't get in, it's still a win because
True.
not too many people have the Knicks winning a certain amount of games. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think we're going over expectations by the end of
Hmm.
the season.
I agree.
And if chance Dallas doesn't make the playoffs and we make the playoffs and both those picks become somewhere in the top 15 or what have you, and you
Hmm.
still got Julius Randle, RJ Barrett quickly, you don't really got to do anything. Just
That's
draft
true.
good players and sign a free agent or two, and you got a
Yeah.
really good team.
Yeah, that's the hope, right? Like that's the hope, and I also think that that's where they're thinking. I think they're going to extend Randall. I don't see a reason why not to, right? And I think they'll extend Randall and then see how it plays out. Because the reality is, we can make a couple of small little moves here and there, and it won't affect the team. You know what I mean? And then we give Mitchell Robinson some time to heal. You know what I mean? Rush him back. Just in case we have an opportunity to make a push in the playoffs. You never know. um, but right now we're top six, right? We're a six seed. I think we're above expectations. And that's where we want to be. We caught everybody by surprise early on, which is great. We play well enough to win those games, and now we're not catching anyone by surprise. They're going to be looking for us, and we just got to come with our A game and practice hard. Because how you
Exactly.
practice is how you play. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And depending on where whatever shakes out and how those picks lie, where they land, you know, the Knicks might luck out and get some really good talented players along with what they already got they can keep. And who
Right.
knows, maybe it's just one guy. Maybe it's just like a Kyle Lowry or somebody, a really
Who
good, strong
knows?
point guard. That might be all you need to turn this team into a contender.
Yeah.
May not be like a team like the Lakers, but that's going to come and you got to go steps. This year you try to make the playoffs. Next year you try to make sure that you're a playoff team.
Right.
Maybe the year after that, you say, okay, we're a playoff team, but now what can we get to push us over the hump so we can,
Yeah.
solidify ourselves? You got to, it's stages.
That was the moves they made when they brought in Melo, right? Like they brought in Melo, and then we made the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the problem was the following year, the moves that we made weren't consistent enough, and we went backwards. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
We started going the opposite direction, and then that also goes to the kind of coaching we had at the time, and the kind of because we had Woodson at the time, right? And
Yeah.
Woodson's a part of our staff now, but for whatever reason, the chemistry wasn't right with the players that they brought in, and that affected, And then I think Mamari got injured too, right? And then once
Yeah.
Mamari got injured, that was the end of it at that point. We didn't have the kind of 1-2 punch that we needed on a consistent basis, and it was all on Melo. So for me, it's like you make these moves, you make these decisions, but at the end of the day, it all has to mesh well.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Listen,
And as long as we're making the playoffs, I'm sorry, as long as we're making the playoffs and we're staying consistent, like you said, The following year is about being a playoff team. And if we make consistency there, then we can start talking about championships. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
You gotta take it in stages. Yeah. And the only bad thing, which is we can avoid that now, is when we got Melo, we traded assets to get Melo.
A whole
Now
lot of them.
we're in a yeah. Now we're in a situation where we have tons of assets, tons of picks, and we got a guy who's Melo like in Julius.
Yeah.
Because he
Well,
he's
at least
he's
he's showing it. He's showing
he's
it. He's
showing
showing
it.
it.
He might
Yeah.
be he might be, when you think about his game, the way it is progressing and how he plays, more valuable than Melo was at that time. Because Melo, yes, he was a bona fide scorer, but Melo wasn't giving you the double double with the rebounds and possibly giving you 5, 6, 7 assists a night.
That is true. Yeah.
There's a difference, and they
Yeah.
both are not grade A defenders.
Right.
Julius may be a little better defensively than
I
Melo.
think effort wise, because I think if Melo was around a different sort of, and I want to say that talking about after Woodson, right? Because I think while Woodson was here, he was motivated, but once Woodson moved on, the motivation of playing defense kind of it kind of slid to the side. And of course, when you start to get Father Time doesn't lose. Father Time never loses. So at some point, you're going to be able to you're gonna start to the wear and tear is going to start to hit you, and you're going to start to run into some injuries and stuff like that. So I think it's just where he was at the time, and I think there's more upside to what you were saying. There's more upside when you look at what you got for Melo, who was already established. You know what you were going to get. Where Randall, he's just starting to peak. He's just starting to find who he is as a basketball player. So the upside is that much more. You know what I mean? And that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing, if if he stays with the Knicks, of
And
course.
he's 26, gonna be 27. He's still younger now than when we got Melo.
What was Melo when we got him?
I
Was he
think he
28,
was
30?
28. No, I think he was 28, if I'm not mistaken. I could be
Right.
wrong, but I know he
Yeah,
wasn't as
I'm
young as
not sure.
Randall was. Is, should I say?
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
so we'll see what happens.
So the
But
Orlando game, man, what do you think about what the Orlando matchup was a tough one. If we go back into because I think I don't know where we went. We went sideways, or no, we started talking about his Randall
no. We
and
were
everything.
talking
But
about Terrence Ross and how he lights us up.
that's what it
Um,
was. That's what it was. I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't remember
No,
where we were. I was like, wait, we lost
no.
track of the Orlando
I wish
game.
I wish I couldn't remember where we were, but unfortunately, Terrence Ross, he's got me hot. I'm not gonna forget.
Yeah.
No, but that game was one of those where the only reason why I'm not as upset about it, I'm upset about the fact that they had a chance to go to 500 if they would have won the game. So they were 14 and 15. Now, you know what? Now they're 14 and 16. But they couldn't buy a basket. I mean, no one could shoot.
Yeah.
The only two players that had it going that night were, well, Julius had a decent game. He still had his buckets, but RJ was playing well and Peyton was playing well. That's
Yep.
it. Everybody
Yep.
else was not hitting it. Quickly was like, I don't know, 1 for 11. I don't know what he was.
It's crazy.
Everybody,
Yeah.
Derrick Rose was getting his shot blocked by everybody. He lost it out of bounds a couple times. It was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. It was the Rose that you don't want to see. I think he
Right.
was overthinking his game at that point, trying to do too much. And yeah, that second unit just didn't show up. It didn't matter who it was in the second unit. They didn't show up. Burke didn't show up. None of them showed up on that second unit. So and I think, to start the game though, I was like, oh, Randall's gonna go in again. Because Randall was like, he went like 4 for 4 or something like that to start the game. And I was like, uh-oh, we're going in again, and then the third quarter hit. Because after we were in the game, we was up 11. Second unit came in. Then we were like, either we were up or we were down 2, and we were kind of going back and forth. We ended the half, I think, down 204, something like that. And then we come into the third quarter and then just all hell. Oh, we went to the shits. I'm sorry for my language, but we went the opposite way. And it was like, oh, wow. It's like no one could hit a
Yeah,
basket.
something
And
smelled bad. It was doo-doo.
it, I'm telling you, man. And then it was interesting because even when we had guys who were trying to make a run for it, like Peyton was still playing kind of good, and Barrett was kind of playing good, and Randall was still hitting buckets. But then we didn't see him in the fourth. And it's like, wait, why are you not playing the guys who are actually playing well? Like, I didn't understand that one bit, but it is what it is. Coach Tibbs is going to go with who he goes with, who he feels comfortable with, who he thinks is the right matchups, and you're not gonna always make the right decision. So it is what it
This is
is.
true. I mean, sometimes it's just,
Yeah.
nobody's perfect, and things are gonna happen. And you hope that, the guys you got out there, no matter what they're going through, somebody's gonna break through it. Sometimes it don't happen, and sometimes you have
Right.
to, you either make a change when it's the right time, or the game finishes the way it finished with Orlando. That's what happened.
Exactly. Is that a learning moment,
Aha.
teachable moment? um, yeah. And what's crazy is that somehow I don't know what it is, but when we play certain teams, certain guys who I don't even know they even on a roster just show up. Bacon? I never like. All I kept
I
hearing
mean,
was Bacon is on fire. And I was like, yeah,
I
okay, I got
I
the
don't ever want to
reference.
hear that again. The only time I want to hear bacon is for breakfast. I don't want to hear nothing about this
Right.
guy.
And the other young kid, I didn't understand how they were just going off from three. I was like, what is going on here? I was like, and they were supposed to be like not a really good 3-point shooting team, but they were on fire against us. They were knocking them down. I was like, yo. And I
I
didn't
don't
see anything. Like I know I was like I was hearing some other folks talk, like some other podcasts that I watch and listen to. I was hearing people say that, they weren't closing out. But I don't know. I rewatched the game recently because I have it on my DVR. I rewatched it because I knew we were gonna come on, and I'm like, the defense doesn't look too bad. Like they were actually going after it, but Orlando was just knocking them down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I don't know.
Honestly, I don't think when it comes to like, because I too, I watch other podcasters and see what they think about the game, and I just like some of them were saying that the Knicks lacked effort. Others were saying no, the Knicks did show effort, and personally, I thought the Knicks played with effort.
Yeah.
What I think didn't happen was the ball was not going in the hoop. And
Yeah.
then they weren't making adjustments. Instead of saying, hey, none of our shots are falling, let's figure out ways to do pick and rolls or back cuts, something else to get to the hoop. You
Right.
know, they weren't doing that, and so therefore, and then the only guy who was really driving into the rim was Rose. But Rose,
Mhm.
like, Orlando's not stupid, right? They're coached by Steve Clifford, which he comes from that that lineage of right,
Defensive
right.
minded. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah. Yeah.
saying, okay, these guys can't hit anything. Let's just close up the paint. Whoever's coming in, let's trap them, double team, whatever they got to do, make them kick the ball. They're still missing. That's all they got to do. So the only
Right.
guy who was really going in was Rose, and unfortunately, Rose, like, Mo Bamba was blocking everything, and this other guy was out there was affecting his shot. So when you play like that, you're gonna just run into the same problems. You're not gonna be able to cut. Because remember when I told you when Rose came, I thought Rose could be, which is what he was trying to do. I thought he could be that like the stopgap, the one that could kill the runs. When the other
Yeah. Yeah.
team is
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on it, the Knicks aren't hitting, him going into the paint, nice little layup. It's 2 points, but it helps break that momentum.
Right.
Unfortunately, this game, it looked like Orlando keyed on him going into the lane because they know, who's going to come in. There's certain
Right.
guys, Randall, Barrett, Peyton, and Rose. Those are the guys who drive all the way into the lane. Other guys shoot little floaters and stuff.
Right.
I just
And
think nothing was
to add
dropping.
to add to that is that quickly shots weren't falling, right?
No,
and
no.
and that was like a big key. He shot enough shots to make a difference. So if he may have hit like one or two threes and got to the line, but he wasn't efficient enough from the field percentage wise to make a difference. And I think if those shots fall and Burke's shots fall, then we're talking about a different game. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
I think Barrett was playing well. Peyton was playing well, and so was Randall. All you needed was like one or two more guys to also be in line with the rest of them, to make that a closer game. But
right.
I don't know, man. It just seemed like nothing was going our way. And why we have the same referees throughout this entire week?
It's the
What's that
lady ref
about?
again, man. No,
No, no.
no
Well,
offense,
the
but I'm just
entire
saying.
week we had the same referees the entire week. Don't they rotate? I thought they rotate.
I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what the NBA is doing. I like the fact that they're trying to keep people safe, and
The
this is one of
fix
the
is in, bro. The fix is in. They're trying to keep us out of the playoffs. That's my conspiracy theory.
hey, man, whatever works. Maybe Stern. What's it? Is it not Stern? What's the commissioner's name?
I don't remember.
I forgot his name. Anyway, he's he's a Knicks fan, right? Maybe he's saying
Is he?
he is, but apparently he tries to
I
keep
couldn't
them
I
up.
couldn't tell.
Maybe maybe what's going on is he's saying, listen, these guys are playing well, but really we need to get them lottery picks up. Now, I don't know.
Well, listen, you
Oh,
might be right because the NBA is always better when the Knicks are doing good, right? So they're always more profitable. The
it's
NBA
very
when the Knicks
it's
are
funny.
hot, so
They're
you might
still
be
the most
onto something there.
they're still the most profitable franchise still.
Right, right. And just for we won't, look bad. I just looked it up. And Adam Silver is the NBA
Adam
commissioner.
Silver, thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
thank
I
you,
could
thank you.
his name wasn't ringing the bell for whatever reason.
I can't because you know what, David Stern is always going to be there. Like he's just like when I think of the NBA, I think of David Stern. It
Right.
will be Adam Silver for me soon, but it's not
Yeah.
there yet.
But we grew up with David Stern. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was what we grew up knowing. So yeah, I got you. I got you, bro. I got you.
The Nick game, I think all that really needed to happen was Barrett and Peyton. Unfortunately, they were hot, so those guys should have played more. And all
No,
it would have
yeah, that would have been
taken
nice.
is one of the shooters to be not hot, but consistent.
Yeah,
If it was Bullock, Burks, whoever, it just one of them. If one of them would have been hitting their shots, along with Randall doing what he's doing, along with Peyton, and along
right.
with RJ, that would have been enough for the Knicks to have a chance to win the game. But
That's it. I
if
was screaming for Austin. I was like, Austin, where are you?
the X factor, I said he was the X factor.
X
You gotta show it.
Baxter. Put him in, Tibbs. Put him in.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
unfortunately,
we
that.
needed something, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But you know what it does bring me to, because this is as far as games go, there was no game tonight because San Antonio is dealing with the COVID, so that game was postponed, and so that's really all
Right.
we can focus on. But it does bring me to the stock risers and fallers. Um,
Yeah, let's talk about them.
and I,
So
I
who you going with? We doing risers or we doing fallers first? Where we going?
I think we should go with the risers, but
Okay.
I it's hard not to say that this person is the riser of the week. I mean, he got everybody talking.
Okay.
So I mean, if it's got to be Julius for me, man. I gotta give it to Julius. I can't, I can't knock the dude. His effort is ridiculous. He came into camp lighter than he's ever been. He got the criticism from last year. He's been
Yep.
working on his game. He talks about it all the time. He knows that people were pinpointing things he was doing wrong, and he's worked on them. I got to
Yep.
give him props for working on that and coming back strong, man.
Impeccable play in the last 2-3 weeks, and you've given him, the riser for the last 3 weeks. I think.
I mean,
well,
listen,
well
man.
deserved, bro. Well deserved.
Yeah, he
I
deserved
can't
it.
fault you for that.
Who
Yeah.
do you think
Well,
is
you
the
know
right?
what? I'm on point with you, man. I was gonna say Randall because there's no way I can go into this week with a 44 point game the kind of numbers he's been putting up, coming even on the loss, he had what, 25 or 23, something like that. So I mean, he was in the game. He was doing what he was supposed to do. It was not everyone else wasn't contributing. So you got to give it to Randall for definitely for this week. So I'm right there with you, bro. I'm
All
right
right,
there
we're
with
on the
you.
same page. We're on the same page. And
On the
I'm,
same
I'm
page.
gonna go back to you for the stock. I have a feeling, funny enough, I think you might pick the same person I'm picking. I don't know. We'll see.
Now we've been holding back because we were talking. We were going to share with this information with each other before coming on today. So this is going to be interesting. So my faller for this week is Mr. Coach Thibodeau.
I knew it. I knew it.
It has to be, bro. Like, we only played 2 games, and after we played we had an amazing game and a fun-filled game against Atlanta. We come back to play Orlando. We have an opportunity to take 2. You know what I mean? And you just, what a shell of yourself, Coach Tibbs. Unfortunately, I don't know what was going on. And I'm gonna say this as a disclaimer, right? Disclaimer for what I'm going. Well, the disclaimer is, I don't like, Coach Tibbs is who I expect to be here for a very, very long time. And I think it's important to say also that I didn't want anyone else. Like, I don't think there's anyone who would have wanted anyone else to coach this Knicks team. You know what I mean? And I think he's going to be the person who takes us to the next level. But with that said, you got to call it out when it's, just not right. And it wasn't his game. That was his game to win, and he lost it. He lost that game for us because, and the way I look at it, and I'm sure you're probably thinking the same thing, is that if he leaves in Barrett, he leaves in Payton and Randall together, and whoever else it may be, a Norland's Noel for more minutes, or Gibson because they didn't play too bad, and we'll probably win that game. But there were nowhere to be found in the fourth quarter. It's on you, brother.
I agree. I agree. No, I mean, I am 100% right with you, bro. If he left those guys in, even if they don't win the game, they have a chance to win the game. The game is a lot closer. When he took RJ and Peyton out, the game was a lot more manageable. It was close. They could have, when he took them out, it ballooned. The lead went crazy. Like, it was over.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could tell, like, it was like, what happened? You know what I mean? It was like the air came right out of the stadium. It was like, what's going on? And we had Knicks fans in Orlando, which was crazy. And I'm like, we got Knicks fans. They're showing Knicks fans in the stadium, and they let a certain amount of people in. I think it was a couple of thousand, right, in there.
Right.
We got Knicks fans showing Knicks gear, and it was like, wow, you're gonna show us lose? You're gonna lose? You're gonna lose? I was so mad, bro.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't.
tight.
I wasn't feeling that at all, man. That was bad job, Tibbs. Love you, man. I like what you brought to the. I, as John said, man, I wouldn't want any other coach before he got selected as the coach. Yeah, the old net coach, I forgot his name. I liked him as a candidate, but I
Right.
knew Tibbs. The one thing about Tibbs is, he brings one thing. Now, everything else he can work on. His other assistant coaches, they can help with the offense, but you knew defense was coming. So
Right.
I was happy with that.
Right.
And I appreciate
And
him. And
he wants to win, which is
yeah,
what
that's
we
another
want.
yes.
We don't
And
want somebody to be a coach and just be like, yeah, I just want to highlight my stars. No,
no.
I want to win.
And I think
you
that
know?
that's what's going to get this team over the hump. As long as he paces
Right.
himself, because I don't like this whole win now thing. It's gotta be a little temper the expectations a little bit. A little bit. You could add a couple pieces
Yeah.
to make the team better, but don't go out and say, okay, well, how can we get
But
Bradley Beal? and then and then
but you know what?
trade the next
The
2 picks
winning
away.
now mentality becomes that playoff every year too, right? So let's not
Right.
think. Let's also think about it that way, right? Because if you win now and you start creating the culture of being a playoff team every year, that's what that is. It is win now. It's that win now mentality that gets you there every year. So we got to also keep that in mind, you know. But I hear what you're saying. You don't want to go after the big money guys now and then you lose out on potential assets later. I get it.
exactly. And just so we can have a little variety, because I could have gone with Tibbs as well. I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
say that my stock
Hold
faller
on. So you're saying
is
you didn't go with Tibbs?
no, I
You
didn't
went
go
with
with Tibbs.
Tibbs.
I went with Tibbs, but I knew you were gonna go with Tibbs, so I said, you know
Okay.
what? Let me pick somebody else. I had a backup.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
my my backup is Burks. Alec Burks.
Yeah. That's
I
a good
think
backup.
I think what I've noticed about him is, unfortunately, the way he was playing when he first started with the Knicks before he got hurt is
Hmm.
not how he's playing now. And it's not about the fact that he was unconscious when it comes to shooting, because he was shooting like 60 something percent from three, almost
Right.
70% from three, which is ridiculous. It's
Uh-huh.
about it's about his effort and the way he's playing basketball now as opposed to then.
Right.
On the defensive end, in the flow of the game, he just he doesn't seem like he's that locked in the way he
He's
was.
playing lazy basketball.
Yeah, I didn't want
That's
to
what he's
say
doing.
it, but that's
No, but
exactly
that's
what.
what he's played the
Yeah,
last 2 weeks. We gotta call it out, right? Like he's
yeah.
capable of much, much more, but he's been playing lazy basketball. And you could tell by the way he's passing the ball, he's not it's nothing he's doing right now is sharp. And until he gets that sharp mentality back and being efficient, like just you're gonna make mistakes, but you gotta put in the effort. You can't go out there just throwing lazy passes around because and making bad decisions that's going to cost you because you got to do other things than when your shot isn't falling. And I think it's when his shot's not falling, it's starting to affect him. But that's only I'm going to give him credit because I think 3 games ago, or if not 4 games ago, he didn't play so poorly. But the last 2 games for sure, he was not playing well. So yeah, I agree with that. That's a great yeah,
I
I
mean, the
like
thing
that.
about him,
I wasn't
yeah, the
thinking
thing
about it,
about
but
him
yeah.
that I'm watching is, because I'm, being that we do this podcast, I look at the games a little differently sometimes now, and I'm looking at the shots. I look at where the shots are landing to tell how these guys, if they got their legs
Right.
underneath them. And Burks has
Mhm.
not had a lot of shots that are hitting in the middle of the rim. They're hitting the front of the rim a lot, and they're going line drive,
Mhm.
and that shows me that he's tired. Um,
Yeah.
and that's, at least that's the knock. When you see that, usually you can say that the guy doesn't have his legs underneath him. He's kind of tired, and
Right.
maybe he's at that point where he is tired. Listen, playing for Coach Thibodeau is not like playing for every other coach. His
It's
style
true.
of play is to try to have you very active on the defensive end, and
Mhm.
it can happen, and especially if uh, you're playing more minutes than maybe you should be playing at this age in your game. Because maybe Burke should be playing a little less minutes, because he's not an old
He's not
player,
old. He's 28, right?
right? But maybe just his way of playing basketball right now, and that he was injured for almost 4 weeks, and
Mhm.
maybe it just it's taking him a little bit more time to get his healthy, and his endurance and stamina back up to where it
Yeah.
was when the season started. You know,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I think that that may be plausible. You know what I mean? But listen, you're an NBA player. You get played NBA bucks. You're getting paid to be in good condition. Like if you're injured, say you're injured, you know what I mean? And then, work it out from there. But I think at some point you have to take the accountability factor into it. And for me, if the coach got you out there, he got you out there because he believes in you, he believes in your strengths, and he understands that you're a team guy. So come out there and do your thing. You know what I mean? At least work on it. Don't go in the court and make a couple of bumbling plays and then now it just affects your entire game. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's not fair to the rest of the teammates because the rest of the teammates are going hard. You know what I mean? Like they're going at it. So I agree with you. That's a good assessment.
yeah, I think that is what it is right now, and like we always say, it's week to week. Anything can change. Next week, Burks could be on fire.
True.
It could be NBA Jam Burks.
So true.
You never know.
So true. So true.
Yeah, but
You never know. And you never know. You might see a Austin Rivers, sighting.
yeah, yeah.
And then we're talking about, oh, they're playing for spots and time and minutes. You never know.
You never know. I mean, hopefully Terrence Ross will be here. But no, I've said too much. Look,
Oh, most recently is that what's
I think I may have lost my buddy John here for a minute. The connection is coming back. But in the meantime, I just wanted to say that, once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Still Nick Fans podcast. We appreciate you guys watching. We're trying our best to continue to bring you some good content, and hopefully, you guys love the Knicks the way we love the Knicks, because this year has been pretty fun. It's been pretty exciting to watch them. Then we're getting things like games where Julius Randle's dropping 44 points that we never expected. So it looks like the Knicks are starting to be one of those teams that the news is talking about, and fans are getting excited about again. So it's just a good experience, and we're loving it. I know I am personally. And I know I can speak for John. I know he's loving it as well. Hopefully, it can get him back in here in a little bit. You know, he might be just trying to reconnect. Might have an issue with his connection. All this bad weather we all been having with the snow and ice and all these things that have been taking place. It's been affecting a lot of internet connections. Um, hopefully, his thing's back and solid and stable. Hey, there he is.
I don't know what happened there. I just got knocked off my Wi-Fi. Crazy.
Listen, these things are happening all over the place, man. With everything that's happening in Texas, with this bad weather and these situations that is going on, it's affecting internet connections
True.
all the time now.
And I'm up north. I'm a further up north than you are,
Right,
and
right.
we got hit with some snow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and listen, we gotta work through it, man. We get there. We still Knicks fans at the
You
end of the
held it down though, bro. You held
day,
it
man. I
down.
tried, man. I was out
All
there.
right,
I was
cool.
like, I was working on my shot a little bit. I shot the
Listen,
shot.
that's why you're the all-star. I'm just a bench player, my friend.
Oh no, no. Like I
I'm the
say,
six-man award.
not only you the sixth man, but you could be most improved player too, man. Don't
Oh, let's go
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah. Don't
That's what
don't
I'm
don't,
talking
don't
about.
sell yourself short.
That's why the love is there, bro. That's awesome.
So now that we got you back, man, I was wondering what we look like for next week's games. How we
All
looking?
right, let's go into it. Let's go into it.
Yeah, man.
Let me
I was
see
here
here.
telling the fans how I'm just happy that they're tuning in and we got them. Still Nick fans.
Still Nick fans. We're here and we're gonna stay here for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Okay, what we got?
so we got the Timberwolves this coming Sunday. And I think that's a home game. Yep, that's a home game. And we're home the next three, next four. We're home. So we have actually the next three. We don't see the fourth actually, but the next three we're home. But I'm looking at the four games in front, but we're home for the next four. So this next three, we got Timberwolves, we got Warriors, and we got the Kings, as you all can see in front of you.
This is very
And so yeah, man. This
Oh, I like this. You know why I
You
like
like
this?
this?
You know why I like this? Because there's a revenge game in here. And you know how I love the revenge
That's
game.
the Kings, right?
That is the Kings. That's Halliburton was
Yes.
talking major caca last time. He
Oh,
was
yes, he
feeling himself.
was.
Oh yeah. Now Halliburton gonna go up against a little Derrick Rose action and a better quickly. So I'm hoping that they don't forget. They got it circled on the calendar. Put him in
I
the
hope
locker room,
so.
yo. Put his picture up.
Facts. I hope so. We really got to get at him.
Yeah, yeah. So if I'm looking at this, first off, the Warriors are playing really good basketball lately. So
And we played them. We played them really well the last time we played them.
that we did.
It's
That
a
we did.
different team, though. It is a different team. It is
That
a
we did.
different team.
And they're gonna probably have Draymond for the whole game. I think coach is gonna be like, listen, I don't care what you feel, don't say nothing.
I said it the last time, though. Let Draymond beat us. I don't care. You just don't let Curry beat you. You don't let the young kid, that young kid they got, what's his name? The Weissman.
Yeah.
Kid is talented, man.
And Weissman is still hurt. However, I,
Oh, is
I
he
think
out?
Yeah, no, he's been out. But they said I just saw an update on him today. It said he will miss the next 2 games, so he may be back for the Knick game.
Okay, but I mean, he's coming back from injury, so you
Yeah,
know that's not easy to do. You know what I mean? Your first game back, you're not going to be like, you know, um,
yeah, it's true. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But if I'm looking at these next 3 games, I think the Knicks can beat the Timberwolves. Although I told you before, it depends on what type of Carl Anthony Towns is out there. That if Carl Anthony Towns is just on his, I'm going to take over the game and do everything, it may be tough because it'll be a lot for Nerlens Noel to handle. And let's
oh
be
yeah,
realistic, Taj Gibson can only do so much. I mean, he's an older
yeah,
player.
he's going to
Um,
give you good minutes, but you don't expect him to be on the court for major minutes. I don't, he'll
exactly.
give you, you know, but Taj has
Yeah,
played well. I'm gonna give
yeah,
him mad love. Brooklyn Knight, you know what I'm saying? For Green, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta give him love. But yeah, I agree with you. Towns is gonna be a problem. I'm sure I think Tibbs is gonna fixate the defense to make sure that because he coached that team, he knows their strengths and their weaknesses. So I think we got something there.
I like
That's
that.
where I'm
It's very
looking at.
true. And I'm also looking at, I like the fact that the Knicks lost to the Magic in a bad way. So I think that's going to give that little extra for the Timberwolves game. So
Yeah.
I'm saying the Knicks are going to beat the Timberwolves. I think, um,
We don't have to travel either, bro.
no, these are home games. And the Knicks have been playing better at home lately than they have on the road.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say the Knicks beat the Timberwolves. I'm going to say the Knicks beat the Warriors again.
I didn't expect that one.
No, I feel
You think
something about
so?
them. I like how they play with better teams, or at least the perceived better teams.
They play
You know,
up
they,
to
they
the
play up to the,
opposition.
yeah, I like it. So I'm thinking they're gonna beat the Timberwolves, beat the Warriors, and I'm got the Kings game circle.
Circle,
That's the
circle.
game I want them to get busy with. I want them to show Halliburton, hey, yo, you did good that last game, but this is what you're gonna face on a normal basis, buddy. This is
Yeah.
what I want to see.
I can't wait for that game. That's a game to watch. I'm looking forward to that one too. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors come up on top on that
Yeah,
game.
I
But
mean, you can see it. Yeah.
I'm looking for a 3-game sweep here. I'm looking for that, and yeah, that's gonna be fun if we're able to pull that off because then that makes us over 500.
I was just gonna
You
say
know what
that.
I mean? We're like, we're where we need to be. And I think we're closing out on I guess the halfway point, right? Because then
Yeah,
after that, we're like almost to the end of the into like All-Star weekend or something. So
yeah, a few more games, and then we got All-Star Weekend. So yeah, this is, and then we can look back on the first half of the season and see,
ooh.
where we're at. And
Are
if
we
we
doing a
get,
sportscaster for that? To talk
ooh,
about the half game benchmark?
yeah, I like
Yeah,
that. I like
that
that.
would be
You know,
nice.
and you know what would really be great if by that time the Knicks are over 500. Oh,
I
that would
know.
be
That would be
very,
nice. Because
very
then we
nice.
could invite people in just to chat and be like, hey, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that would be great. Well, hey, man, listen. I'm just gonna say it as I always say it, man. It's always fantastic to be here chopping it up with my bro and
All the
talking about
time,
the
man.
Knicks, man. I can't. It couldn't be done in a better setting with better people around me, and I
That is
mean
that is a fact. And man, again, I couldn't say it more. Shout out to Jose for jumping on board. I appreciate you. This was dope. I'm glad that you are coming on with us and hopefully we can continue to do this, man. It looks great, by the way. Love the energy.
yeah, man, this is fantastic, and I'm happy that we're able to get this done this way, and having Jose help us out with this really great, man, because I am not the guy.
Did you just hit him with the thumbs up for your boys? That's what's
That's
up.
right. That's exactly what.
Shout out to
Sorry,
Knicks Fans TV.
sorry, CP. Yo, we ain't taking. We congratulate him.
We congratulate him. That's props to him, man. That's a
Yeah.
dope show. All
So
right,
I
cool, man.
definitely continue to watch us, guys. Thank you for tuning in. It's the Still Nick Fans Podcast, episode 10.
Number 10, man. We
Yes,
made it.
10
Double digits,
episodes.
baby.
We did it. We did it. Definitely continue to tune in. Check for us on Instagram or on Twitter. It's still Nick Fans. If you have any comments, definitely post them on the video when this comes out.
Mhm.
Hopefully, to get this out to you either not, if not today, then definitely tomorrow. Um, once again, we just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in and keep coming back, man. We'll keep coming out with more and more content and just stay looking for us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for all the support, man. And yo, thank you, Ron, again for inviting me and making this happen, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, man, listen, it's always a pleasure, always a pleasure. So, no further more to say. Just want to say thank you for tuning in. We are out of here.
All right,
Take care.
peace.
It's a litmus test just to see who's best. Roll the dice, break the pipe, and let's see who's next. Ron and Jon on the mic, talking New York Knicks. We be rooting and recruiting for the boot camp click. Take a step back, take a minute. Talk trash, but we in it. Let's go now, cause we winning. All you haters, gon' be livid. Run amok, knuckle up, ain't no New York punk. Step it up,